Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our glorious Republic and Workers and Resources. I believe it's episode 112. Come a long way, haven't we? And, I mean, depending on how things are going, we got a long way to go. Like, I got plans, man. Oh, I want to get to them, but damn game takes too long. It just takes too long to get places. Okay, so things are moving along in this area, right? We're still building it out. We get track builders and stuff that are still doing their thing. Looks like there's one over here now hitting this side of the bridge. And that's going to almost complete the... Yeah, this one over here, too, is going to have to build it. Let's get you to ignore that red light. And these guys are going to build into each other here. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So we're going to let that go. And... we're going to do the pipe stuff, but I wanted to give you an update on certain situations, and I also wanted to talk a little bit about the power issues going on in Cernikova and how we diagnose them. So I'm going to pause really quick so it doesn't hit nighttime just yet. Although nighttime has still got a little bit of time left. I'll let it go. How about 1 time speed? How's that? Okay, so if I come over here, all these pump jacks are done except for this one. Has 180 work days left. And when you click them, there's oil in them, which means they have power. And it turns out they freaking built these. I didn't know they were even working on these. All 3 of these turbines are now done. I don't think that's a good thing. I'm not ready to maintain them. So I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. But the helicopters do what helicopters do, okay? And the helicopters have deemed that the, let there be power in this area, says the helicopters. And so we're going to have this road kind of come over into this area. I don't know if that's where I want that to be. That road is going to be in my way. This road is supposed to be a rail, actually, eventually. So it's probably in my way. I might have to do something different. Well, it's dirt, so we'll leave it there for now. I just want to have the ability, at least, to get over here to maintain these things if we need to. But the power has been fed underneath. It must be because they've been running. There it is. So all of these are now done. And they're full, which means up the line, there's no power somewhere. There's nowhere for that oil to go. So we have to look at that. It is getting closer to nighttime. I'm going to go ahead and pause it. All right. So if we take a look at these have power. Here we go. Yep. I'm not sure why there's no sound effect on that. There's no sound on pumps. Interesting. Okay. So distribution office, right? We have all these things. These are all powered, but this is not. And it gets its power exclusively from that. So this doesn't have a connection, right? And it needs 0.75 at the moment. And so that's good. I don't think it's going to expand much more than that. So here's how we're playing this. High voltage switch fed under to here. We're just passing through the same 7 megawatt underground high voltage line to here, right? And then this switch can then bring power over to this. And once this is done, we'll then feed power to here from this. So we'll say like a 1.2 should be acceptable here. Although we are going to be placing some pumps. I don't know if we'll have enough to really matter though. I think 1.2 is going to be fine. Yeah. 1.2 megawatt. We're going to say we'll feed it from this one here. Go out to about that far. And we'll go about there with that. So when this stuff is done and set up and in place, this will get power, which means the pump gets power, which means it will be able to now finally feed oil into this tank. And then everything is set up correctly the way we need it to be. So from here, we'll be able to bring oil in from the train. And then it will then go in also from the pumps, of course. And then it comes into here. This will decide where the oil goes. And it will prioritize sending it to this tank first, which is already built. It'll send it to this tank first, which provides oil for this entire setup. Only when this is completely full, and there will be a couple of reserve tanks as well in here. So only when those tanks are full and this tank is full, does it then decide to send it to this tank. And it is at that point where we will get oil, like extra oil sitting here, right? And if we can build up a supply of extra oil, we then want to send that extra oil on a train somewhere else. So we'll send it using that. All right. So this will be able to pull it from that tank directly. Otherwise, this just sits there and it'll fill up and then, we're not pumping oil, right? We're not being efficient. So we want to do that. I don't think this is ever going to fill up. I don't personally think that's ever going to happen. But if we start pumping oil from somewhere else and we start bringing it on the train like it's planned, then we might end up overflowing this and being able to push enough oil into the system to fill this up. And if that happens, I do want to be able to ship it out. All right, cool. All right, so that's taken care of. We're going to do the pipe mess today, but that's for the second 2 quarters of this video. Second half, yeah. The second 3 quarters of this video, I'll say. Because before we get into that, I want to take a look at a problem that's happening in Cernikova. Now, I've already diagnosed this, but I want to walk you through what I had to do or what I was going with to diagnose it. So we've got a couple of things here too, just real quick while I'm here. I want to get rid of these. I'd really like to get rid of that. I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to get rid of that little dot, but I got a monument here that just got built. So as they're driving down this road, they'll be able to see this. That's great. And then also we've got another Lenin statue here. So all these guys that are driving down this way, because there's a lot that come this direction, they'll be able to see Lenin from here. I thought about maybe making them face that direction since it's, the main inn. But I've decided that, as far as like propaganda goes for people entering the city, if they're entering our republic, we would probably want to put that over here. We would put that in here, right? This distribution office that has no containers and has nothing here, and I can demolish this. There's no reason to have that. But if we wanted any propaganda coming into the border, this is where we'd put it, right? Because not only does the border connection from here come in with these roads, but this one here also comes in to this here as well. There's a bypass, of course. There's this road here too, but primarily if they're coming in, they're going to use the one-way streets over the two-way streets. And so they'll prioritize coming this way and then going there, right? So anyway, if I was going to do propaganda coming into town, that's probably where I would do it. Anyways, let me turn on an overlay really quick. I want to show you what's happening over here. So right about there. What we're going to see as nighttime begins is we're going to start seeing rolling blackouts in this area, okay? Cernikova is going to start getting rolling blackouts, and the solution I was going to do for this, because I didn't really want to bother to mess with it, since I'm going to be dinking around with supplemental power for free energy and everything anyway from the wind, as I've been building this ramp kind of up to here so that I can put in a series of 12 wind turbines along the mountainside up here is what I've been wanting to do. But it requires me to flatten this down and bring it down. And normally you'd want to keep it way up high, because the higher elevation gets better wind. But I don't think in this game that's modeled that way. I think the wind speed is the wind speed, regardless of elevation in this game. So, we can set it down all on this mountainside here. And that's going to help us with being able to maintain them as well. This road right here will eventually, once I can lay it all in flat, and I think I might have enough now to do that. It's getting, it's green. It's green all the way up to about here, right? So I have enough to pretty much get this to the top of the mountain green without having to do any more. And that's going to help us in being able to come up here and maintain these things, even if the helicopters build them, okay? On that note, I need to be able to get over here to maintain this as well. It's very new, so it's only 3%, but I do eventually need to get over here to maintain that too. So I was going to do wind, and if I'm doing wind as supplemental power, it would be injecting wind power into this area anyway, which would be supplementing all of the juice that we have that's flowing through here, okay? But eventually, I don't know why it's not happening yet, because it's been pretty consistently happening, so maybe I've already done something that would fix it, or maybe there's just a production building or something that's not running. That is interesting. Maybe this isn't running. Like, there's no trash in here. So maybe once this stuff starts processing everything, it starts pulling the juice. Either way, it's going to happen, right? If it doesn't happen tonight, it'll definitely happen. So if you're having power problems in an area, you need to diagnose it. And when I go through my electrical substations here, all of them, I've went through every single one individually, and all of these are under 100%. So it is not the endpoints. It's not too many connections in your substations. It's none of that. All right, let me just make this a little less chaotic. Here we go. And we'll do it like this. So it's not that. The rolling blackouts that we get from Cernikova are not the substations. So I can pull back here and try to go back further up the line. And I noticed a kind of an interesting little thing that I've done here. I think initially when I set this up, I was planning on doing many smaller cables out of this, but instead I ended up just doing 2 of the 2.35s. And hopefully you can see it dark. I have went in and reinstated my darkness settings, so it should be a lot lighter than it was last video. But there's a 235 coming out of here, and there's a 235 coming out of here. And then there's two 235s going in. This is a medium switch, not a high voltage switch. And so, oh, there it is. Charlemagne's heating plant north. Come over here. Well, that's an interesting thing to have a power problem, but that's all wind anyway. Let's come back over here. I can't believe this isn't happening, man. It's been happening like consistently, and I was going to fix it today, but shoot, if you're not going to have the problem, then what do I care? I'm pretty confident, though, that that problem exists when there's trash in here. I think the reason why it's not happening right now is because there's not a whole lot of waste being processed, and so this whole system here isn't pulling juice. But when this starts to pull juice, then this starts to suffer, and I know why. So when we see it, I'll go ahead and walk you through it. But if it's not going to happen anymore, then I ain't going to bother investing in fixing it. All right, so let's come back over here to the pipes, and then we'll check back in on the next night. So for the pipes, it'd be pipe chaos, right? We need water, sewage, and oil all routed underground here. We don't need oil routed underground, but we're going to. And so what we have to do is try to figure out how to get all three of these types of pipe systems to coexist without getting in each other's way. This is the ultimate source of oil for this entire setup, is this tank right here. But in order for us to feed all of this stuff, we need to do so with a pump, because tanks don't feed other tanks. So there has to be a pump in this. So we're going to put an underground one. And honestly, we could do an above ground one too. We can do an above ground one instead. And it needs to kind of be out about like this to be fine. I think I'll put it over here just so it's maybe a little bit more forward, like over here, just to give it a little bit more distance, right? Because we need to be able to reach all the way over there. So I think I'm going to put this pump like right about, let's say here. All right. And of course, if we're going to go this far away, then underground is probably better. Yeah, I don't really need a pipe above ground all the way over there. So we'll put it right about here, I think. And that's in range of that substation too. We want to keep it in range of that power too. So we'll put it right about here. All right. So we'll connect that with the dirt road for now. So this, we need a pipe that goes and feeds this into here. And thankfully, it's not in the way of this high voltage line, but this might be. Nope, it's underneath it completely. Perfect. Okay, so with this pipe in, this is going to govern where the oil goes. And we want oil in the chemical area before we get it into the plastics area, because plastics requires chemicals, so chemicals have to be made before plastics can be made anyway. And so in order to feed this correctly, in order to keep this warehouse full of chemicals has to be constantly running, right? So that means we have to get, and I kind of wish I had multiple ways in here. I almost want to redo this so that I can have two ways into here, because having all the forklifts lining up to get in here is going to be inefficient. Maybe I could look to add like a small warehouse on the other side and then just have some of them deliver to that and then have a truck bring it over here. I was kind of trying to avoid trucks, but if I start seeing forklifts just lining up all over the place, then that's what I'll probably look to do. We could actually go in and maybe, because this connection isn't required at all, actually. So this is, actually, yeah, that would be how we remake it, right? We don't need this connection because we already have this one. So we could have this redirected in. Yeah, that's the solution. So if we, oh hell, we'll just do it right now. I'll just have it done right now. Whatever. We want Zernowski demo office on that. Okay, cool. All right, we'll get this to go there. That way, these forklifts, as they're coming down here, they can choose either way. They don't have to go only one and just line up. They have two different ways to get in here. So anyway, back on topic. Oil, right? We want oil to be fed to these 8 chemical plants before we get it to these 2. So let's set up how we're going to do that. We're going to have a reserve tank for each set of 4. So there's going to be 2 reserve tanks. Now the big tanks, they have different designs. These big tanks only have 2 outs, which isn't very good. It means we need 2 tanks because there's, you know, you need 2 tanks for this one tank for this one tank for this one, etc. We don't need that. The smaller one here, it only has 300 capacity, but what it has is 4 outs and 2 ins. We only need 1 in. So 4 outs on these tanks are actually really nice, and they're also more compact. I like them, so we're going to use them. So we're going to put a tank right here. And this tank is going to be right about there. Okay. Obviously, this whole thing needs rigged up with power and stuff as well. That's what we've got this for. And these switches and stuff. That's what they got this for right here, by the way. That's the feed power to this whole area, yeah? We could also, you know, pull in some power from over here. We have all these wind turbines and stuff, too. And they're going to be powering all the pump jacks. They're going to be feeding oil again. We have to set that up, too. So keeping that in mind, we need another oil pump to pump oil into this system as well, right? All right, so with these tanks, what we're going to have is one connection right here that hooks up just like this, right along the road. Perfect. And then you are going to go to there. You are going to go to there. Can I not have you? Can you pretty please not do the curly Q thing? Please? Wow, you are... I mean, I guess you don't want to kink it, I suppose, but maybe we could do something a little more sensible. You know, like that. That'd be great. We're going to go out like this, and we're going to want to go like that. And then finally, this one here goes all the way over and connects to that. So this gets us 1 oil in, and then these 4 will pull off of this supply. And that works because these guys only need a very small amount of oil every day. 1.2 tons of oil per day for each of these things. That's not a lot, right? 1 pump jack over there at 56, 60% is going to be able every day to provide enough oil for 3 of these things. So it's not a big deal. That's 1 pump jack, right? We have many pump jacks. All right, so there's that done. Next, same thing going to be done over here on this side. Now, there's a couple of things we want to do over on this side, but one of them is this tank situation. So I'm going to place the tank to be about, let's put it over here, like a little bit further away, I guess, but we'll put it over like right about here. All right, a couple of things have to be done here. One, the road connection has to come out this way and connect. Okay, that's done. Good. Second, now we need to feed this beast, and we're going to do that with this connection out. So this one's going to come across and feed right into there. I don't want to cross in front of that. I need to come around. You'll see why. In fact, I want to go a little bit 1 level lower would probably be good, and then come up from there. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So all the oil pipes are now routed through here. Now we need, same thing we did before. This one's going to come over and hook up there. This one is going to come around. I don't want you to do that. I want you to come this way, please. Yep, like that. Then this one goes... this one is going to go to here, because this one has to go on the outside and then go that way. Okay, that is every building fed with oil, with its own individual reserve tanks and a pump that is going to prioritize sending oil to those 2 locations before it sends it to a 3rd location. And that 3rd location will almost never be full of oil, I wouldn't think. And that's going to be over here. So this tank, we're going to put this right up against here. And this tank here, we'll just have it go, I don't know, straight over here. I don't really think it matters. This one gets fed from here. Real straightforward, right there. And then you feed, I don't know, we'll go like that and like that. It doesn't really matter. But that gives us oil, and it's done. Oil tank's complete. Let me real quick. I want to check and see if there's any power issues over here. Damn it. I know there was power issues over here. I was planning on like showing them off and everything, but maybe I don't know, maybe something's not running, and with something not running, it's maybe like, it could be like maybe one of the switches or something were under construction, like reconstruction. So their efficiency was down and like the pass through wasn't good. I mean, it could have been that, but I know that there's another problem, and I want to fix it. I know there's another problem. All right. I'm not crazy. I swear I'm not crazy. All right. So we have all of these. Oil's done. Let's talk about water now. Chemicals are going to be produced in this area, and they're going to be fed to this. Those chemicals probably are going to end up used constantly. But we can get water over here and get that water processed over here because all the chemicals are being created here. So one of the things I would like to do is set up another little warehouse. And this is going to be sort of like a reserve warehouse where we have a dedicated supply of chemicals that are used to treat the water that's over in this area. It's a very small operation, but sending water from all the way over there and bringing it all the way over here with a pipe is just wasteful on resources when we have chemicals being produced right here. So there's no reason to do that. It would be better to have labor that's already getting dropped off in this area to then have 7 of those people, right? 5 of those people, a very small number, process water for this entire operation. I think I would rather do that. So we're going to go over to our very small warehouse. And I think I'm going to place this over here. I want to place it to where it's connected to one of these forklift garages. So I think it'll be about here is fine. Right about here is good. And we're just going to hook you up right there. And that's going to allow these guys to bring some chemicals over here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 forklift garages. Possibly 4. Might be able to get another one over here. I haven't really tried, but possibly 4 if I need it. Yeah, right there it will fit. So we could do 4 if we need it. But this one is going to have an extra source. All of these are going to share all the same sources and jobs, but this one will have one extra job. And that is to keep this warehouse at like 10%. Right? Something small. And that's going to allow a single truck with a dedicated route to just go back and forth, bringing chemicals over to a water processing facility, which is going to be right here. Water treatment, small. Doesn't need very, very big. It's very small. And this water treatment facility is going to be, I think maybe we'll just put it maybe right here. It's probably fine. Just needs to be in range of that bus stop. So they need to be able to walk to this. Maybe I need to put it a little closer. Yeah, maybe we'll go right here instead. This is probably fine. So if I put it here, we get this road come around like that. These then connect like this. And then the walking path for this, I guess we'd need it to go. It'd have to be through here, right? So this walking path would go up to the road. Maybe more like this. This way. This way. Need to connect this. This way. Then we cross here, let's say. That's really fancy. I don't know if I like that. I think I'd rather you cross here. I think it looks better. We don't need that or that. I think it looks a little better as long as it reaches. And it does. 282 meters is easy. So we'll be able to get them from the bus to walk over here to process this stuff. Cool. All right. From here, we're going to have water fed into this with a big well. And the big well is going to be located right over here. Of course, if I'm already walking this way, I might as well just put the well right next to it. I was going to put it right here, but I don't think it's necessary anymore. Now I'm thinking I don't need to. Because I wanted to make sure it was close enough for this, but now I'm just going to put it over here. If I look at the well, it needs to be a big well. This is an 86 quality spot. Even with all this happening. I'm pretty sure because of pollution, once these things get up and running, this will probably drop down into the high 60s. It needs to stay above 67, though, because this requires 67% quality water in order to operate. So it needs to stay above 67. So for that reason, I think probably we put the well over here. It's a 93. It's farther away from pollution. And it looks like, anyway, everybody's going to be able to reach it anyway. So I think that's going to work out. We're going to put this 93, maybe over here. Yeah, maybe like right here. I'm trying to stay away from. We're gonna have people being dropped off on the train over here too, if possible. So I'm looking at that as a possibility and trying to make sure I'm not in the way. I think maybe we'll compromise here and go 92 right here. 90, 92. As long as you can reach, that's the most important thing, right? Can you guys reach from the bus stop? You can. Okay. So we can have people walking from here too. We need a big pump. Big pump. Big pump. Where is it? Big pump right here. And we're just going to place this kind of wherever, right? It can go here, I suppose. Big pipe to here. We can feed it too, but it doesn't matter. And then we feed it into there. That's fine. So that's going to feed it from this into here to get processed. All right. We're going to need another big pump. 2 big pumping stations. Put another one right over like this. All right. And we can put that there. And then this big pumping station will also feed. Now, if I'm correct, this will go with 2, right? 2 of these fit out. We talked about this a long time ago with the water pumps, but let me just do it right now. Big water well can support 215 cubic meters. All right, 215 cubic meters, and this does 127. So times 2. Can't fully saturate both of these, but that's okay. This will barely have any water coming into it anyway. I'm just doing it thoroughly with big pipes, just in case we want to feed it somewhere else, or we have like some water, supplemental water that's needed in this area, which might happen. Well, I mean, we're going to need water processing over here anyway, so maybe we just go all out and put a big one in here instead and have this place fed with water on this side. Hey, you know, that's not a bad idea, damn it. Why don't we just do that? I mean, I had another plan for where I was going to do water for Charlevans North, but now that I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, it's right there, right? We should just do that. Yeah, let's just do it right. All right, so we're going to take this away. Goodbye. We're going to pull that back, pull that back, pull that back, pull that back. Okay. You can stay there. That's probably, I think. We're going to do a big water treatment plant now. Just a subtle upgrade. Just real subtle upgrade here. Like this. Yeah. Flatten that out for me, please. Done. And then this walking path now goes straight to there. We can go like this. And then over. It'll still reach, right? Yeah. All right. So upgrade this. Why not? And then we'll take the big water pumping station from here. Same thing we just did. Big pipe into there. Oh, come on now. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. You are going to be like that. Okay. Yeah. All right, then. That's fine. Big water pumping station. How about here? Big pumping station like that. And walking path like that. Okay. So now we're feeding even more water into this setup. All right. That's going to be good. Now this is going to process that water and feed it many different places. All right. We're going to need another big water pumping station. We're going to put a couple of these, actually. Now that I'm doing the big city, I might as well do a couple of them. So we can do one right here. And we'll put another one, I guess, right next to it. Maybe a little bit over like this. Maybe a little bit over like this. Okay. And then we'll end up having big tanks there and into here. It'll end up being like that. We're going to put a pin on this. We don't need it right now. But we'll end up using this one to feed water into Charlevans North. Okay. So we now need, I'm going to use a big water tower. I was going to use a reservoir. And now that I'm thinking it might go this way, I might use a reservoir anyway. It's a little more expensive, but nah. Let's just use the water tower. I wanted to do it. It looks nice and big, and I wanted the water tower before, so we'll do it now. So I want this to be right about, where's the walking path? It's on that side. Can I switch that? I want it to be, yeah, right here. So I want this water tower to be right where it's gonna stop. Like, it's not gonna let me. It's too narrow, right? So right about here. And then we're gonna feed this with a big pipe just because we can, and potentially, you know, it can go that way. So we do it just because we can. Big pipe right into there from the pump. So there's our water sources. Now we need to feed water into this area so everyone can drink, and we only have 2 outs on this. So we're gonna use a switch first, and this switch is gonna be right here. Let's put the switch maybe on this side. Doesn't really matter. We'll put it right here. That's fine. So 1 water switch right there. We're going to take a medium pipe. I don't really think we need a medium pipe, but we'll use a medium pipe. And we're going to feed that into the switch using gravity to take it through there. And then from here, we need to find the location where 2 of these substations can go. We're going to feed 1 on this side, 1 on this side, so that it also covers the plastics. I could just put 1 in the middle, right? And cover almost everything with just a single one. We could do that, but the problem with that is maintaining it. There's no way to get in here to maintain this unit because of how these are sorted out. So I need them to be on the edges so that they can do that. And I'm also splitting the source a little bit. I mean, that's what the splitter's for. So we just need enough on this side. I think this is probably good. We can do it about here. This is probably okay. We'll pop that there. That's going to feed all of these. And then on this side, we want to make sure that we are, again, close enough to where we can get all of them. About here is fine. Okay. So now we'll take our small pipes. And the small pipes are going to go, again, through the noodle mess here, if you will. Going to come all the way around. And right there is fine. That works. I was a little worried about that, but it works. And then this one is going to go over here. Okay. And there's one thing I probably should have done before I did all these. I think, yeah, there's definitely one thing I should have done before I did all these. And that is the underground paths. I definitely should have done those first. Because the pipes might interfere. And the walking paths are way less flexible than pipes. So that's a misplay. Maybe it won't be a big deal. Let's find out. First, we need another pedestrian underpass to be over here. And I'm going to put this one... I think right about here would be okay, I think. I'm hoping anyway, it's okay. Right about here. And then that's going to get a walking path with lights just to maximize that distance that we get out of that. We're going to go as straight as we can on that. Yep. That direction. Okay. So from here, I need you to go... I think I need 1 on each side. I do. I need 1 on each side. That's unfortunate. But I guess it saves me 1 extra. I mean, it's the same amount of tunnels, right? I guess there's 2 ways I can play this, right? We can have the tunnel go here, and then this one go there, and then this one go here, and then this one go here. We could do that. But then it's 1, 2, 3, 4 tunnels. Right? Or I go with another underpass right here on this side. And then it's 1, 2, 3, 4 tunnels. It really doesn't matter. So I guess what really matters is whether or not they can reach their destination. So if they can go like this, then we should let them do it. Because it's actually 1 less of these underpasses to maintain in that situation. So let's try it. We'll go here. And then here. And then we'll go here. I'm really glad that these are working out and I don't have to redo them. And then we'll go here. Beautiful. So if we did that, can you reach all of them? You can. It's 380 meters, but it does allow you to get there. Perfect. So that will work. We'll go ahead and submit. Done. Okay, so walking paths underground are completed. Or at least the plans are laid in for them. So we have drinking water delivered. We have oil delivered. We have the walking paths. We have a way to get drinking water into the system. Everything is going to work out there. But now we need industrial water. Totally different animal, right? Industrial water is going to come in directly from the well. because it doesn't need to be treated, and it's coming from this one. So there's another big pump. The industrial water, each one of these is going to use 10 cubic meters of water maximum per day. So that means we need 80 cubic meters going into the system, right? Now, that's not a big deal, but it is at least warranting a big water pipe. So we need enough to actually go through a big water pipe for this whole thing to happen. So what I want to do is, I think I want to get a little bit of reserve water. We could do, I think a 70 cubic meter reserve is fine. So we could do like a little one here. Maybe on this side. Just trying to think of how I want to play this out. We're going to need other pumps and stuff too. So we're going to need another big pumping station. And that'll go on this side like this. So probably from here, I'm just trying to think how it's going to be laid in here. This one feeds... Well, if I use the reservoir, it's still only 2 outs. If I use the big water tower, it's still only 2 outs. Maybe water towers in the center here is the way to go. Maybe 2 water towers in the center. It's too much storage, though. I don't need this much reserve. But the small water tower only has 1 out. That's the problem. So maybe we just use switches. I guess 1 tower and then switches. That would do it. It just has to be maintainable. So it'd have to be like in here somewhere. So we do it like maybe right here. Let's see what this would do. So let's say we pump water with a big pipe. We pump water into there, which I feel like it's a little bit wasteful to do a big pipe all the way that distance. We don't really need to do that, right? That's a big distance for a big pipe. We could do that somewhere else. If we put it over here, for example, it'd be a lot smaller, large pipe, and still would be equally out of the way. So I think we're going to put it here instead. So there's two water towers here now, but I think that's still a good idea. So we want this to be, I think facing this way is probably better. We'll go like this with it. Okay. And then this road's not done yet, so I don't want to interrupt the job. I want them to keep working on it. But if we were to take the big water pipe now, from this, we can bring it over into there. That's a lot cheaper than bringing it all the way over there. And then we just need switches. So we can get 1 switch, I think, over in this area. I think maybe right about here would be okay. Just have to make sure that we can actually get water through there. So 1 switch over here would be okay. Walking path is that direction, so about here. As long as the walking path will fit. It will indeed. Yep. So that'll happen. And then the water then needs to be distributed with very small pipe outs. So this one can go there. Yep, like that. This one goes in there. And then this one can go across over to here. So that's 3. And then we can feed that one with a medium, because that's only feeding 3 of them. So the medium can go out that direction. Yeah, that's... Oh. All right, it's going to need to be going like that. You see how what I said is in pipe chaos, right? So we feed from that side, and that gives us these 3. But we're going to be too short on this, so I'm going to need another water tower, which I think will be okay because this has extra outs. So we don't necessarily need another water tower, but it would be good to have it. I think still good to have it. Why don't we instead let's not do this. And instead what we'll do, since we need another one anyway, is we'll put another one over here. Say it can go, just needs to stay out of the way of this. So let's say we put it over here instead. This is such a... I should have maybe plan this out for 6 chemicals instead of 8 because there's not enough outs for this stuff. It's just the way it is, though. You know, it's just the way it is. We're gonna go back here, I think. We'll put it right over here. The walking path is on that side. So like this. So we have this water tower and this water tower, and then that is going to give us a total of 12 outs for water, which is going to be enough, like more than enough. So, so once again, we'll do this differently. We've already fed that side, but we're going to do it with this one instead. All right, and then this one can go that way. And if we're actually only doing 50-50 on this, we don't even need the big pipes anymore, right? Yeah, we don't need the big one. Hey, we don't need the big ones. This is going to save us money, actually. Good, we don't need the big ones. Because we split it, right, in 2 different directions, we actually only need the mediums in both directions. That's really helpful. Still need the big one here, though. But the mediums this way is fine. Okay, so we'll lock that in, and we'll say that that's how we want to do it. So then we use our switches over here like this. We'll say the switch is over here. And we'll say that this switch goes maybe from here. Closer would be good. Yeah, right here. We'll say one switch there and another switch on this side, maybe in here. Okay. So we do medium pipes out to the switches. So one there. And then one over there. Okay? So I just want to verify the math here. Each of these switches is going to need 30. This is going to need 30. But this is a medium, so it won't get the full 60. Is that a big deal, though? I'm not sure it's a huge deal. Because... you know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll just use 5. Instead of using all 6 of these, we'll use 5, and then we're taken care of. And then the other one can use 3. I mean, honestly, it's not even that. No, we're just going to use 4. Yeah. Okay, never mind. We're fine. I'm trying to do math in my head, and it ain't working. All right, here. Go this way with you. You'll see what I mean. So if we're only going to do the 2 connections, we're not going to use all the connections. This is the problem. There it goes. We're not going to use this connection. So we only need 20. We only need 20 to come out of there, right? Each of these are using 10. 10, 10. And this does 20. So this is even cheaper. We don't even need that. Because we're not using all 3 connections, we can get by with small pipes out of this. Yep. All right, that's how we're going to do it. So small pipes. And we'll go there and there. Yep. That'll feed. That's taken care of. And then we'll do the switches on this side. Similarly, we just have to make sure that wherever we put them is, able to be maintained. So we'll do one switch, let's say here. That's pretty fire. That's fair. One switch there. And then the other switch will be over here, like this side. Okay? And then we just go into the switch here on this side, into the switch on this side. And you are going to go there. Like that. And then you're going to go around. And this is the part where I'm going to have to do creative things to get over there. There we go. It'll have to be from this side since this one's blocked by the oil pipes. No big deal. And then this side over here, same thing. We go that way and that way. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is industrial water. Okay. We're going to need power eventually, but I do power last. Because power is the most flexible. Yeah, you can literally go above ground with power, right? So we do that last. So all the sewage pipes, water pipes, oil, primarily oil is going to be underground. You can go above ground with oil, but I choose to go underground because all the points that you need to use it and attach it are at ground level. So, all right. So that takes care of most of the stuff that's a complicated thing, but we still have sewage. Sewage is still a thing. Well, I chose this location because it has a relatively close area for us to dump our sewage, which is in this little lake here. And eventually Charlemagne's North will send most of its like people sewage. Most of that sewage is going to go over here and get processed at this treatment plant here. But there will be a way to like take any excess. If this one starts to get overloaded, we can then take some excess and dump it in this little area here. And then I'm contemplating, because this is going to be industrial sewage. It'll be very toxic, right? So I was contemplating actually taking and processing this sewage as well, coming off of this and dumping it in here, purely for roleplay experience, roleplay reasons, right? It has nothing to do with like what you need to do. There's no pollution in this game when it comes to dumping sewage in water. It just doesn't simulate that. So it's purely for your own roleplay on it. Do you want to make your people safe and be able to have them swim in the lake and that kind of thing, right? That's what I'm thinking about. But if we're going to do that, hopefully I have some things that are close by. I don't. Okay, I'll have to mess with things a little bit further there. But if I can get... Doesn't look deep enough. By default, lakes that generate are not typically deep enough, so you need them to... You know, you have to... Gotta get bulldozers and stuff over here. All right, well, when I'm done flattening this, which is so close. Ever so close. So ever so close to being done. Flattening this over here. I can go ahead and move all of this, all the bulldozers and excavators I have, and I can get them over here because they're going to be needed for building this area too. There is a hill here. I'm thinking about leaving it because I kind of like the idea of having my big building is going to be on the top of the hill, but I have two instances of my plans, one where I keep this and one where I don't. And the one I'm actually like the design of the one where I don't, so I may actually flatten this, but we'll see. Anyway, so why don't we plan on there being a discharge right around this area? So if we're planning on that, knowing that that's the case, right? We know that that's going to be sea level, but how fast does it ramp up? We're at 10 already over here, and this area over here is fairly high. Yeah, we're pretty high up here. In the middle here, we're at around 10. So we got about 9 over on this side, about 9.8, 10, almost 11 over here. So we're going to want sewage. It needs to be like here and here. So we're around 10. So wherever this is fed, it looks like we're going to be fine putting something right here. Like a switch can be here is what I'm thinking of. Like where can I put my switch is what I'm thinking. So I'm going to put my switch, I think right about here. And that's going to be at 8. So as long as we keep our thing above 8, we'll be fine. And we need it to be, let's put it about like this. So that's 8 meters up for sewage there. So everything that we do for sewage in this area is going to go into that switch. And as long as our septic, as long as our tanks are above 8 meters, we're good. So, and actually, it'd be cheaper, right, to take one big pipe going from switch to switch. It'd be cheapest. So, we'll see if we can pull that off too. Ideally, you want the sewage tank to be at the highest elevation you can get. That's the ideal. So, and it needs to be accessible for maintenance. So if I can put it right here, that'd be cool. Because this is like 9.5. And it almost gets, yeah, it gets that one over there too. That's cool. Can I get this right here? Oh, almost. It was going to do it. Right. Come on. There's a spot. Got it. All right, so that's like 9.44, I think is what that was. So over here, we can do this now. This is at 10, so this is fine. And it needs to cover both of those. And that's kind of it. I'm pretty sure this one is covering... it may not be covering the well. Is the well covered by this? I have to move that. The well doesn't seem to need coverage, which is odd because people work there. Does the well not need sewage coverage? I mean, people work there. I'm not seeing that, though. Really? Never noticed. Hold on. Donde es wells? Right here. Yeah, it doesn't need it. Wow. Interesting. It doesn't need drinking water either. So people work here, generates internal garbage here, but they just don't drink anything on the job and they don't use the bathroom on the job. Okay, well, the wells don't need it. Cool. I had no idea. So this will be fine then. Because I'm pretty confident that it covers, yeah, it covers the processing center. Yeah, so we're good. And then so you, at this point, are covering, I believe you're covering that one, but even if you're not, this one will do it. So we can probably put this one wherever we want then. So I'm going to place this one at 10. 10 would be good. Yeah, right here, 9.98. That's fine. And then we need to switch. And the switch just needs to be lower than 9.4. So we can get this to be 9.43 to 9.39. You can also lower elevation too. Like this is up on a hill. So I could lower the elevation here. I'm pretty sure I have the people in range. We go about like that with it. It seems a little gamey, but yeah, just dig into the ground a little bit. And then this switch can go at 9, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just kind of put it wherever we want. So it goes here. Now, is that going to be in the way of my parking lots? Yeah, probably. In fact, this entire area needs to be flattened entirely so that we can put parking lots in. So why don't we do that first? I'm running out of time. These videos take a while, don't they? They do. They take a long time. And the later game you get in this game, right? Like the more developed your civilization is when you go and do this game, the longer it takes you. Well, as a content, if you're like a content creator, right? It's usually these games that are highly detail oriented. I'm gonna start looking at Kerbal Space Program pretty soon here too. I may have already started it depending on when you watch this video. And these types of games, right? The further in you get, the longer it takes to produce content for them. Because there's planning involved. You have to plan complicated things, and things get progressively more and more complicated. All right, so this is all at 9.8, which, I mean, is fine. 9.8 is perfectly acceptable. 9.5 seems to be better here. Bring this down to 9.5. That's cool. All right, everything shifts down to be 9.5, but that's still not 9 point whatever. I need to keep it out of there. So let's go the sewage. God damn, this is all high up. I need it to be lower than this. All right, you know what? Tell you what, this is at nearly 10, right? So this is the problem child, because it's at 9.5. So let's find another spot for this one that will be, you know, above 10 if I can get it there. And it looks like I might be able to get a walking path through that gap, I wonder. Maybe around here. Maybe through this area. Still 9. It's actually going down as you get in here, so need to keep this above. It's just no way to do that, is there? All right, what's this? Well, hang on. Now we have this accessible. Oh, so we can put it in here as long as it's covering those buildings, and it does look like it is. So yeah. So this is 11. This will work. Yeah, this will work. So we'll do it about here. That's 11.29. Looking at the pipes, thinking like sewage pipes, right? They're gonna have to go underground. Yikes. See what this one does. It covers this one here. This one over here is covered by that one anyway. So, let's try this. So we have the sewage tanks. This is providing sewage coverage, mind you, for all of the you know, like people sewage, non-industrial sewage. We haven't even gotten to industrial sewage yet. This is just trying to figure out how to get sewage going downhill, because, and you know, to be honest, I probably should have done sewage before doing water, because it's less flexible, right? You always do the least flexible things first. And I didn't do that with this, which is probably why it's taking me longer than I thought it would. Let's go with medium pipes through here, I think, is probably better. So this one gets fed to that. Done. You feed here. Done. And to be honest, if I could, I think actually what we would do is feed it from the other side. We can go... Man, just wrap around the other way. There we go. And then come right through here and connect to this one. Thank you. All right. So now I have this in for the industrial sewage. And I'm hoping I can feed all of the sewage at that point with a big pipe from here to here. And then from this one can go from there and then in. And then any extra, you know, we could always do two switches as well. But the problem is, like, this is where my parking lots were supposed to go. And I'm kind of like not wanting to put any more here. But I think you get the gist. Get the idea. We're at pretty long video now. You know what? There's plenty of spaces here. I think there's plenty of space for parking lots. I don't have to worry about it. All right, you can put one right here. Right there. Put another one over here on this side. You know, I can jam them close together. I can spread them far apart. You know, something like this would be fine. And then over on this side, we do another one. Let's say here. Right, I'd be like right here. Yeah, we got room for 4 parking lots here. I think that's acceptable. So parking over there, parking over here. And then I have space for my sewage and stuff to run. So I think we're going to have enough space to make this happen, especially since we have all this space right here in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm my plans for sewage there. And we're going to let them just build, right? I mean, they have so much to build. It's not like I have to design them right now. I can design them later. It just kind of gets it going, gets it started, right? And so there's so much to build that we're probably not even going to have this running until maybe 2023, or not 2020, probably like 2003, maybe. I mean, it depends. I mean, if I'm not building anything else, right? If nothing else is being constructed, and that is kind of the case at the moment, then I suppose I could go over and say, hey, Charlebinsk, how about you help with all of this, right? And then they just come over here and help with all of this. And then construction office, help with all of this, right? So there is that I can do. And Zernovsky. Yeah, everyone come over here and help with this. Oh, and yet, let's not forget we need labor as well. So there we go. Yeah. Cernikova, you want to have some labor? Come on over here. Everybody work on this, right? Maybe we can get it set up before the end of the year. I know it's January 2001 right now. And I'm going to go ahead and finalize this over here so that I can get these crops dropped. And then I need my farm equipment and everything to start having new sources because, you know, they're going to be running fields here pretty quick. These large farms are going to be starting doing things. And I'd like them to, if possible, start working on additional crops for this year so we don't run out. Although it's January and we're not even close to running out yet. So maybe we're fine. Oh, I know why we're fine. Yeah, I know why we're fine. I know why we have so many crops. You want to know why we have so many crops? It's because we're no longer selling food. All I had to do is turn off the sales for food. Because once we start selling food, then we have to fill this container back up, right? But as it is right now, as soon as this container fills up, then these guys stop producing, which means they stop using the crops. So there's that. The other thing, probably, is that this office has been told to buy crops. Yeah, buy crops, buy food. I don't want to do that anymore, so I can turn that off, and that's probably going to help take care of it. I am still buying electronics, electrical components, mechanical components, and plastics. I am still buying those if needed because they're very essential and important for maintenance. And yeah, we just need to keep that going until I can really properly get the infrastructure in place for maintenance, and I just don't have that yet. In fact, I am sending manually a lot of my offices and stuff out to buildings like this to fix them. This one just got done. There's certain buildings out here which wear and tear happens, right? So we're going to need somebody to come out here and do this. And I have been like going over to my reconstruction office and saying, excuse me, kind sirs, can you please, go over here and take this job because I need you to do it, right? And I've had to do that manually just because I don't have any workers in this area. I've been talking for like, I don't know, 40 videos now about having a town over here, but I have a system, like a way that I want to progress, right? I think I have you guys can probably agree, I have a very controlled manner of building, a controlled manner of growth, right? I'm not letting everything run wild. Everything happens in stages for smooth operation. And part of that smoothness in operation is getting the supply chain for this area done before I get people in here. And that requires us to have more chemicals to be able to support more people over here because we're tight on chemicals. So we need more chemicals and plastics to be able to get over here. And then we need the people to run those places because there's no point in having more labor in this area if they're just going to be waiting on resources anyway. So I end up having to support people that aren't supporting the empire, if you will, right? They're not supporting. I'm going to have to feed them and bathe them and clothe them and give them all cool toys. And they're going to come over here and pick their nose because the supply chain for actually making the things that their job requires isn't there, right? So I want the supply chain done first. I want all these storages like filled up. We're just waiting on workers. We just need workers. And that's when we drop the town in. And then the workers show up and everything's fine. That's the controlled manner that I'd like to have. Supplies first, then people. That's why this building isn't done yet. That's why it's just sitting here partially constructed. Because there's no reason to build this. I don't have the workers to come over here. And even if I did have the workers to come over here from the 6% of unemployment, right? Even if I could bring those 1,245 people that supposedly have no workplace, I'm going to investigate that offline. That's a lot more than I thought. Even if I could bring them over here, the resources aren't necessarily here, right? So we have plastics in this, steel, chemicals, that's fine. If I look over here though, right? I guess actually this is better than I thought it was, to be honest. This is better than I thought it was, but you know what? If I had workers here, it wouldn't be. Like I'm confident that this would completely run out of plastics and completely run out of chemicals almost immediately if I had a consistent 100 workers in here. And probably once the labor train comes in, that might be the reason why they're unemployed. It might be just trains. Like this train is on its way to the industrial yard with nobody. Right, so something's going on with the trains, and I need to investigate that too. 162 people here, right? So there's a lot of trains waiting around on this rail, and I think another thing I need to take care of is expanding the rail and having 4 rails here. There's just too much traffic going through here. Either having 4 rails here, which may not be difficult. One thing I'm thinking about doing actually is having a tunnel right here. I know, more tunnels. I said it before, but yeah, a tunnel right here would be interesting because you can do a tunnel here, and then these trains, if they don't need to get off this exit or this exit, right, and they're just looking to get back here, for example, like just distribution office trains, right, then what we could do, we have a bit of a pipe mess through here with all the sewage pipes, but we could take a tunnel and have it be maybe even from this side, but I was hoping to go after this junction. But we could do it maybe over in this area even. So that way all these trains, they come through here and then, maybe they just turn in. Wherever we end up putting it, the tunnel would be here and it would go underground all the way over and pop in over here. And then it would just go into the distribution office. And other trains can pass through the distribution office as well. This is a pass-through track too, so other trains could do that. So they might choose to get in that tunnel because there's less stops, there's less intersections. And so you would only end up being in here if you need to be in here in that situation. It'd be a very expensive tunnel, don't get me wrong. It's incredibly expensive. But, we're going to do a metro later anyway. And it's not even cheaper than a metro. This will cross. I was surprised by that when I saw it. Like, this will cross. This won't, but it will cross if I go like that. So And that might just be because of the power pole. But interestingly enough, this will cross. So I could do something like this, where I could go like that and like this. F4? Can I? Yep, like this. There we go. Something like that, and then tunnel. Right, and it'd be a single tunnel. I don't think I don't want to do... I mean, if you really want to do it effectively, you kind of have to do double tunnel, right? Because that would open us up to the possibility of trains coming from here, hitting this intersection, and then going around in the tunnel to bypass all of this and appearing on this side, maybe even just right here. And then they would just get in here. I would like to bypass this too, so, you know, that's why getting into here is such a cool idea, because then they could just choose which way they want to go and be more flexible. And of course, the other idea was to go under the mountain, but that's not really any... I guess it's cheaper tunnel-wise to do that. They would have to get to here, but at least they still bypass this part. It's not nearly as... It's not as much of a shortcut for some of these trains. And the cool advantage of this one is that the distribution office trains, they wouldn't have to go out like this and then come over to get to the tunnel. They could just directly leave this office, hit the tunnel right away, and go if they wanted to. There won't be much use for that because these guys need to pick up resources over here to deliver them. So there's not really much use for that. Most of this traffic that's coming from this side would be like return trip style things. So it would be trains that are coming back to stop here, which is really useful because that means the only ones that are really passing through are trains that are not part of this office. So if the trains come in and pass through, it end up stopping here waiting for this intersection, but that doesn't stop trains from just entering in here and then despawning, you know? So there's pros and cons to this. I gotta really think about it as terms of like whether it's worth the cost or not. But I do like the tunnel idea. The bridge, there's a bridge idea, of course, for that too. But bridges are just as expensive as tunnels. You know, they're just as labor intensive. And the advantage of the tunnel is that it's automatically electrified at 120 kilometers max speed, to where the bridge you have to pay extra. You get 135 kilometers, but you pay extra for the bridge to be electrified, to where the tunnel is automatically electrified. And you know, so there's a case to be made in both ways. I'm still investigating it. I don't think it's worth my time yet, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. I do appreciate you. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And you probably are watching this after Christmas, so if that's the case, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.